A frozen mummy is offering new insights into human history and geography.
A mummy frozen in the mountains is providing new information about human geography and history. Deep in the icy quiet of the Alps, a secret remained hidden for more than 5,000 years. When two hikers came across a leathery body in 1991, they had no way of realizing they had just awakened an ancient ghost. We not only discovered the mummy, we discovered his clothing, his equipment. All this revelation is unprecedented in the world. One whose body, equipment, and blood contained answers to questions we had not yet learned to ask. This was not any mummy, this was Ötzi the Iceman. And years later, scientists sequenced Ötzi the Iceman's DNA heritage, and what they found shocked the world. The body in the ice. What started as a run-of-the-mill mountain trek on a cool September morning in 1991 soon became one of the most phenomenal archaeological finds of the contemporary age. Erica and Helmut Simon, an experienced couple of hikers, were walking through a barren, isolated pass in the Ural Alps that forms the frontier between Austria and Italy. The air was thin, the landscape cruel, but late summer sun had eased the glacier's hold just sufficiently to expose something completely unexpected. Half buried in melting ice, half exposed and deathly silent, was the unmistakable shape of a human form. The Simons' first reaction was that they had come upon the tragic body of a fallen climber lost to the cruel mountains. But as they drew near, minute but dramatic differences appeared. The figure was not dressed in current synthetic materials or sporting common climbing equipment. Rather, the body sported thick leather boots, cleverly filled with grass, a rude but effective type of insulation. The hands clutched a copper axe, its greenish patina suggestive of age past any recognized modern artifact. Most incredible was the condition of preservation. This was no dry skeleton or disintegrated remains. The meat had dried to leathery, dark stuff, near petrified but incredibly intact. The texture of the skin and the general state defied the normal ravages of time, their preservation accomplished by the merciless cold and ice of the glacier. The find triggered an instant chain reaction. Area authorities were contacted and helicopters descended upon the area to take experts and archaeologists to the site. What had begun as a routine rescue became an all-out probe, the interest heightened by the eerie preservation of the body. In a matter of days, while carbon dating and forensic testing began, the world was shocked to discover that this man had been living in suspended animation for over 5,000 years. He came from the Copper Age, an era in human history long lost to mystery and legend, dating from about 3,300 BC. They called him Ötzi, named for the valley in which he was discovered, a name that would become synonymous with ancient human history and archaeological marvel. Ötzi was not only an icicle relic, but he was a window of living history into a lost world, a snapshot of human existence at a defining moment in prehistory. But beyond the intrigue over his age and state of preservation, more profound mysteries emerged, indicating that the tale was not yet complete. His death, however, did not seem to be a serene passing, but rather the violent death of a man trapped by events that we are only just now coming to understand. Life and mortality during the Copper Age. At the age of approximately 45, Ötzi was no young man, particularly in an era where life expectancy was ruthlessly brief. But forensic data provides the portrait of a man in the flush of life, robust and resilient. Standing at just 5 feet 3 inches tall, weighing about 110 pounds, he might have seemed slight by today's standards, but his bones told a tale of strength and endurance, forged by years of surviving in the harsh alpine environment. One of the most fascinating aspects of Ötzi's body was the 61 tattoos etched across his skin. These weren't ornamental or symbolic. Rather, they were therapeutic marks. Scientists believe they were deliberately placed near joints afflicted by arthritis or pain, perhaps an ancient form of acupuncture or medical treatment. It was a silent testament to his suffering and the rudimentary care methods practiced thousands of years ago. His clothing spoke volumes about his lifestyle and the resources available. Goat hide leggings shielded him from the cold and rough terrain. A bearskin cap protected his head, and a cloak woven from woven grass added an extra layer of insulation. These garments were meticulously crafted, each piece functional, designed for survival rather than fashion. Ötzi's equipment revealed an unexpected sophistication. He carried a flint knife with a finely worked handle, a yew longbow bow, and a copper axe, the latter of which astounded historians. The axe's copper blade was not only an advanced tool for the time, but also a weapon, evidence of emerging metallurgy that would soon revolutionize human technology. This copper axe was not only an instrument, but also something very expensive at those days, and not everyone had one. Yet beneath the surface of this hunter and craftsman lay a darker truth. Forensic analysis uncovered wounds suggesting that his last hours were far from peaceful. He suffered from atherosclerosis, actually, so if he had not been shot by an arrowhead, he might have suffered a heart attack. His left hand bore a deep gash, indicating a desperate act of self-defense. His ribs showed bruising and possible fractures, evidence of a violent struggle. Blood from 4 other people was discovered on his belongings, hinting at the presence of others nearby in his final moments. Most chilling of all was the arrowhead lodged deep in his left shoulder, having severed a major artery. This fatal wound was not accidental. It was a violent act, a deliberate attempt to kill. Ötzi had bled out alone, high in the mountains, far from any help or allies. The implications were staggering. Ötzi was not a victim of nature or accident, but of human violence. Who had attacked him and why? Was he a hunted man, a casualty of tribal conflict, or a scapegoat for some ancient dispute? The answers remained elusive, but one thing was certain: Ötzi's death was a murder frozen in time, and that was just the beginning. The story of Ötzi the Iceman continues to unravel, revealing secrets not only about his life and death, but about humanity's long and complicated journey through history. This is terrifying, the realization that violence, betrayal, and survival struggles are as old as civilization itself, etched not just in stories, but in the very flesh of a man who died 5,000 years ago. The first DNA puzzle. 4 decades after Ötzi's discovery, scientists were relentless in their pursuit to understand this ancient man's life and origins. His body, remarkably preserved in the cold glacier, became a unique time capsule. Researchers examined everything they could, from the contents of his stomach to microscopic parasites living inside him. The revelation that his last meal consisted of dried ibex meat, Eorn wheat, and animal fat gave a rare glimpse into the Copper Age diet and survival strategies high in the Alpine mountains.